The opinions on this subject are pretty divided, so I want to know what you guys think. But let me stop and say, if you don't have a heart for animals, then you're probably not going to care for this post too much. So what I want to know is, based on scripture, Bible scripture, do you believe our animals, our pets, go to heaven? I've heard arguments for both sides. I can see the point in both sides. And if you've ever loved an animal, if you've ever been close to an animal and had one as a pet, then I know you've asked yourself this question, and a lot of you may have sought the answers for it. One thing we know is that animals are sinless. So no matter what, they do not go to hell when they die. So I have really dug into the scriptures about animals and whether or not they're in heaven. And it is not clear. There's no verses that say your animals will go to heaven when they die. But the Bible tells us a whole lot. When God created the whole entire world, He created animals first. He created them each with little habits and patterns. They all build homes. They all eat. They play. It's precious. That God made animals special, and He made them first. Animals worship God. They have their own form of worship. And so many scriptures say, they talk about heaven being full of animals, and when God brings the new heaven and earth, creation is renewed, and animals are part of creation. Isaiah 11:6 says, "The wolf shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the young goat, and the calf and the lion, and the fatted calf together, and a little child shall lead them." That sounds like animals in heaven to me. With kids, everything's going to coexist. It will be pure happiness. And we've heard many places and times where it says the lion and the lamb, will lay together in heaven. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 18 through 22. "I said to myself concerning the sons of men, God has surely tested them in order for them to see that they are but beasts. For the fate of the sons of men and the fate of beasts is the same." Now, granted, this is after creation. This was after Adam and Eve and after Eve sinned. That is what separated us from the animals. I have had a lot of people come up to me and not like when I've said that animals and people were supposed to be the same. We were all supposed to eat, worship God, build homes, exist, coexist even. And then Eve sinned and her eyes were opened. Adam took part and his eyes were open to sin. And that is what set us apart. We were all supposed to live like animals. And I know people don't like to hear that, but it's the truth. And in Revelation chapter 5, verse 13, "Then I heard every creature in heaven and on earth and under the earth and on the sea and all that is in them saying, To Him who sits on the throne and to the Lamb be praise and honor and glory and power forever and ever." God told Adam to care for the animals. He gave Adam charge over all the animals. Several times we have been referenced as sheep, God's sheep. So He thinks of us as sheep, which is a sheep and a lamb are so gentle and they're loved and precious, and that's how He cares for us. There are so many, I could go on with it a lot. So I think we know that animals are special to God. There were animals at the birth of Jesus. Job 12, 7, 10. "But ask the animals, and they will teach you, or the birds in the sky, and they will tell you, or speak to the earth, and it will tell you." There are so many, but there's not a scripture that tells us whether or not the souls of our animals go to heaven. So based on everything, and I have really looked this up, I've really studied it, and I'll tell you what I believe. I believe our animals go to heaven. And the main reason I believe they do is because they have the same breath that people do. They breathe. They have hearts. They love. They are afraid. They get sad. They have all the emotions, but they have love. And we know God is love. Our animals love us. They worry about us. They protect us. They care for us. They're wonderful. And the main reason is they love. God is love. And that, I'm telling you, the fact that our animals have breath is probably my biggest, I don't want to say argument, but that's what it is. My biggest, when anybody asks me, it's because they have breath and they love, and that is what sets them apart. And they are sinless. That's how we were supposed to be. So, I really do believe that. I believe with all my heart that because God breathed the same breath into an animal, and they may not have I don't even want to say that because I'm not so sure they don't have a soul. They just are sinless. That's what it is. They're sinless. So, everybody, I want to know what everybody thinks. I really do. And if you have a different scripture to look up, maybe one that even says somewhere that animals don't go to heaven, please, I'm open to all views. I like to hear what other people think. So if you've ever had a pet that you just love, I know you've asked yourself that. But yeah, I think they go to heaven. I believe our pets go to heaven. So just, yeah, let me know what you think. I want to know what y'all think.